Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey y'all, this is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Dave.
No Nash.
No.
Because Nash is up in Alaska salmon fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, sorry Alaska. But if there's a rash of Sasquatch sightings this week,
It's
probably
just Nash.
It's probably him.
Nash, I hope you're having a great time, man.
Right.
We'll see you when you get back. And I hope you're bringing some tasty salmon.
I know.
Because we just actually had salmon. Went
Yeah.
to a restaurant. We all picked salmon.
Yep.
It was yummy.
was
but
good.
it wasn't Alaskan.
No, I
No.
want that fresh caught by Nash salmon.
You sure about that?
Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. Hey, on this episode, we're going to talk about, again, we're going to do a very current topic. We're going to talk about the UFO alien briefings that they just had at the congressional hearing about.
Yep.
We're going to talk about some UAP action.
Okay.
Okay.
My turn.
Was that a handoff point?
Yeah. Oh, no. Some might say dramatic pause.
Oh, okay.
That's where you insert the dun.
Right.
All right. 3 former military officials have testified before a House Oversight subcommittee on Wednesday, July 26th, that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it is telling the public.
I mean, of course they do.
Right.
And the Pentagon has denied the claims. So during the hearing, there was testimony about unexplained object sightings and the government's possession of non-human biological matter. But it also kind of centered, actually, it was more about improving processes for reporting UAPs and the transparency on the events.
You know, what I found interesting, where they're talking about, only 5%
Yeah.
of UAP sightings get reported.
Correct.
Now, is that because everybody just shrugs their shoulders and why bother? Or,
Well, there's probably a lot of people that believe or feel like nobody's going to believe them.
Right.
Or like you're hallucinating or whatever.
Right.
So
now
Well-
for the, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, the UAPs can have a lot of different things, and they're not all aliens. So it may be one of those.
They're all aliens, Dave.
Right. It's aliens. But when you see a weather balloon, you're probably like, oh, they're probably tracking that some other way.
Right.
I'm not going to report it. But
Gotcha, I gotcha. So, growing up, UFO was always the term, but they're using this now. Now they're calling them UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Now, Dave, we were talking earlier, but anomalous means what?
well,
No, it's because it's covering things that could be in the sky, in the ocean.
Right. Yeah. They changed it. It used to be when they first started using UAP, it was unidentified aerial phenomena, but that was too specific. So anomalous basically is generic, anonymous, however you want to describe it. But into their specific thing, they included submerged and transmedium objects. In addition to aerial, so that's why.
Right. So because my brain's like, oh, so aliens are living under the ocean.
Right? Well, we've had a number of topics
or in the ocean,
that, of course, I can't recall right now, where
Right.
it seemed like the craft was coming out of the ocean. Or
well,
going
like
into
Shag
the ocean.
Harbor.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
we?
episode I really don't remember.
So I do have some bullet points on what a UAP their characteristics.
Okay.
Round, atypical orientation. Altitude between 10 to 30K, I guess, feet in the air. Mm-hmm. Speeds up to Mach 2.
Right. Which is interesting because the ones we'll get to for this hearing, that is slow.
No thermal exhaust detected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And intermittent radar signature.
Right.
So like a blip on and blip off of our radar screens.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, so the three different people, the first one that spoke was a former Navy pilot, Navy fighter pilot. Yeah. Ryan Graves. The second guy was a retired Major David Grush. And then third guy, retired Commander David Fravor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not sure which guy you guys want to start with, because they were all they were very interesting, like their points.
So I think starting with Graves.
Okay.
He was Navy lieutenant and fighter pilot, and he was assigned to originally around radar, something to do with radar. I didn't quite understand exactly the specifics of what they were talking about, but that at one point the radar got upgraded. And when it did, UAP sightings went through the roof.
Right.
Basically, whatever they did for military purposes suddenly could see a lot more of these things. Again, they might be weather balloons, they might be in whatever, but
either way, we're now picking up a lot more.
Yes.
Of UAPs in the sky.
So he is one that he's created an organization, foundation, whatever, to support pilots when they see these things, making sure that they're getting the proper representation and not being spoken out against, things like that. But he had a really interesting thing occur that he was part of. 2 F/A-18s were flying in formation.
This was off the coast of Virginia Beach.
Correct.
In 2014.
Yes. And all of a sudden, this UAP went right down the middle of the two of them and cut them in half, as they say. Not actually damaging the planes, but going right between.
Damaging the pilot's cargo pants.
Right, yes. I mean, if you've seen Top Gun Maverick, he does the same kind of a thing, but he's in another fighter.
I want to see Top Gun Magic. Is that what you just said?
Maverick.
Because that sounds like a great movie.
But in this case, it was a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere.
Yeah. that's kind of like a little bit mind-blowing. So it's inside a clear sphere, but it's a cube.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like maybe like an alien probe.
Right.
Like sending down to collect data.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Like a drone or something.
Yeah.
In this case, no one was harmed, but the pilots did file a safety alert on it. Mm-hmm. Nothing was, withheld. The pilots weren't discriminated against or anything like that. And this was part of the congressional hearing where he, verified that there was no repercussions to them.
Right.
But he's the one that came up with the 5% report rate for this, and he's really trying to advocate for those pilots to get more reporting and protection.
So I brought that up earlier that we're only hearing about 5% of the. Is it because some people, like some pilots, just don't want to do it? They don't want to be made fun of per se. Like, oh yeah, you saw a UFO. Yeah,
right.
Sure you did. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Some of that is why it's like a low report rate.
So I saw a follow-up with him where he was talking about pilots will discuss what to do if they see a UAP before they go up on their mission.
Okay.
And it's a topic of conversation. So I don't think it's among pilots that they're not reporting it, whether they feel ostracized from their upper echelons. But they confirmed here that in the congressional hearing, they were asked specifically, was there ever repercussions against you or others for reporting these things? And they all answered no. So I don't know why they don't report them.
Because the aliens mind wiped them.
Right.
Yeah, the group that he founded, it supports aviators who have reported similar phenomena. And the objects that are reportedly being seen by military and commercial pilots. So, in a lot of these sightings, they're maneuvering much more than what our technology can handle.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and that's a good point. This isn't just military. This is also commercial pilots.
Commercial as well, yeah.
But along that lines, we were talking about they're doing maneuvers that are unexplainable. But he did say if everybody could see the sensor and video data that he witnessed, that the national conversation about UAPs would change.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is he saying that y'all would believe if you would see what I saw?
There's a lot of read between the lines and a lot of the testimony on this topic.
Yeah.
And, if you read between the lines, it does sound like, at least according to this group.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think all three of them, certain things they were like, well, I can't comment on that.
Right.
So obviously they might know a little bit more than they're leading on to.
They're
but
saving it for their book deal.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess in the official capacity, so he was in there because of his group that he's founded and his personal experience.
Yeah.
Fravor was there because his incident was actually declassified.
Yes.
So he could speak publicly about it now. And Grush, forget if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
Grouch, whatever. He's there because he's considered a whistleblower.
Yes.
But the interesting thing, and we'll get to him, we're not jumping to him right now, but the fact that he wasn't willing to disclose everything. He's like, I can't talk about that.
Right.
But he's being a whistleblower. That, to me, adds a little bit of credibility to this. Like,
no, and even in the hearing, he was like, I can't say anything about this now, but if we can go to what are they calling it?
Was it a swell?
It was basically if they all got security clearances, they could do it, and it's not on video.
Right.
And there's no recording of it.
It's a private congressional hearing.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Yeah. But so also Ryan Graves, and I didn't write this down in my notes, but in the hearing, he did talk about also they saw some. I thought he said like red, like giant squares, or orange squares, and I'm not sure. I wish I would have written it down.
It just popped in my head. It's the Borg. Wasn't their ship was a big square?
Right. Cube.
Oh, man,
Right.
we're doomed.
Borg cube. Yep.
So I just found that
cute.
interesting. Like he's had, I don't know if he has seen certain things,
Right,
but
yes.
but he's also talked to a lot of people,
Right.
and the things that they've seen. So I don't know if he actually saw the red squares,
Right.
but I thought that was very interesting about him.
Yeah.
Now, retired Commander David Fravor. His encounter actually happened in 2004.
Yes.
And it wasn't released, the video wasn't released until 2020, which you said, it got declassified. But it's the Tic Tac.
Yeah,
Yes.
say, this is one that everybody's probably, if you're into UFOs,
Right.
you've probably seen the Tic Tac video.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Not TikTok. Tic Tac.
Right.
Tic Tac.
So he and three others, they saw a white Tic Tac shaped flying object emerge over the San Diego coast in California.
Now, real quick,
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know the average age of our listeners, but does everybody know Tic Tacs? Like, are they still a thing?
Oh, you know what? I don't even know. I think you can get Tic Tac still, right?
I don't know.
I would assume everybody knows what that is. But if not, a Tic Tac was kind of like a little pill-shaped breath mint. It came in a clear plastic container, rectangle shaped, and you could just also shake it. So you also had the shake into the Tic Tac.
Right.
Put it in your pocket, had a little flip top, boom.
Yep.
You could pop a Tic Tac in your mouth. Then your fresh breath can kiss away.
The fruit flavor was the orange. Were perfect.
I only like the mint.
Okay.
Everything else, I was like, nah, I don't need other flavors. But anyway, so a quote.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. A quote from him. He said, "There were no rotors, no rotor wash, or any visible flight control surfaces like wings." So as they tried to get closer to the object, it rapidly accelerated and disappeared right in front of the aircraft. And it was leaving no detectable turbulence. So another quote from him: "The technology that we faced was far superior than anything we had. I'm not a UFO fanatic, but what we saw with 4 sets of eyes, we have nothing close to it. It was incredible technology."
Right. So a little bit more on that. So he is actually a graduate of Top Gun.
Oh.
So he is, of the upper echelon of our fighter pilots, or was at the the time that this happened. When you say 4 sets of eyes, so they each had a weapon system officer behind them. So it was 2 planes, 2 pilots, 2 Wizzos behind
So
them.
Maverick and Goose.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And when they were on a training mission, and radar picked up multiple anomalous aerial vehicles. And so they went to investigate. And when they went there, they said it defied the laws of physics, at least human physics, I think is how he worded it.
Right.
It dropped 80,000 feet in less than a second. So they saw
Wow.
these things coming in, and it just, that's really, really quick. White tic-tac looking object, and it was aware that they were there. It was mimicking moves of the fighter jets. And then when they went to go in to get a closer view, it accelerated away so fast that it was basically like it disappeared. And they picked it up on radar less than a minute after that, but it was over 60 miles away.
Wow.
So, these things are going really, really fast. One of the interesting quotes that I heard from him was that he doesn't know what kind of pilot it would take to do this, but he would love to be one of them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, he also said that it was several years before any officials followed up to ask about the events of the day. And then after that, nothing was done.
Right.
So it was almost like it quietly was pushed into the corner. But
in the congressional hearing, he did say that he doesn't think there was any malice to it, that it was like everything else. You have things that are too big, they just get put in a desk drawer and forgotten about. Like where the Ark of the Covenant in the story.
right. So the last guy that we're going to talk about is retired Major David Grush or Grush. I'm not sure how to say his name.
I've only watched the video like 5 times now, and
Yeah.
I still butcher it.
In 2019, Grush said that he was asked by the head of a government task force on UAPs to identify all highly classified programs relating to the task force mission. At the time, he was detailed to the National Reconnaissance Office, which is the agency that operates like U.S. spy satellites and stuff like that. A quote for him, I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program to which I was denied access. So like he came into this information, but then they were like, no, you can't really look into it more. So.
We're recovering UAPs, but we can't tell you more.
Right.
Yeah. But what do you think the multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering, what do you think they were referring to?
A lot of things.
Roswell, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so he says that it is highly likely that the U.S. has been aware of non-human activity since the 1930s and is absolutely certain that the federal government is in possession of UAPs, and he knows the exact locations that are in the military's possession. But he couldn't say in the
Right.
hearing.
Yes.
Obviously.
He also alluded to that there are a lot of people with a lot of knowledge of this, and that he can't say for sure because he doesn't know what information has been communicated, but that he wouldn't be surprised that Congress is being withheld information.
Of
So
course,
our public knowledge hearings, things like that are, we don't know what's going on for real.
Right. So he was asked by Representative Jared Moskowitz. He is from Florida. How such a program is funded. And Grush claimed that the effort is above congressional oversight and bankrolled by a misappropriation of funds. So Moskowitz replied, does that mean that there is money in the budget that is set to go to a program, but it doesn't, and it goes to something else? And he said, yes, I have specific knowledge of that. But of course, Grush, couldn't confirm
Right.
or say what it's going to because it's classified.
Yeah.
So,
Right. So basically, there's money in the budget for some program. And everybody thinks, oh, that's cool.
Right.
But that program's fake because it's going to the alien research.
Right.
Which obviously, the government doesn't want you to know.
Right. And the program managers of the original program probably don't know the difference. They're like, I budget $100,000 for this thing, and you go to use it, and they're told, no, you can't use that. And
Right.
well, I budgeted for it, well, and they're just told, no, costs are too high or whatever.
Right.
That's how you shuffle things around. And, Yeah.
Because heaven forbid they actually just set up a fund for alien research.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I think we could handle that, right?
Yeah.
The American public can handle knowing there's aliens and the government's researching it and,
Yeah. Well, that's actually part of my final thoughts.
My bad.
We'll come back to that.
come back to that.
Now, Grush says that he has not personally spotted a UAP or any, alien bodies, but his opinions are based on the accounts of over 40 witnesses that he interviewed while he was on the UAP task force. He also said he has interviewed individuals who has recovered non-human biologics from crashed UAPs.
Yep.
Biologics.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he had to say that twice. He had to reaffirm
Right.
I'm talking that he didn't refer to them as alien bodies.
Right.
No.
But it was biologics that were of non-human.
Right.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
to me that's he was saying we recovered alien species of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it was a little vial of
It could be their
amoebas.
Yeah, right. It could be
But
that. It could be blood. It could be, ooze. It
Right.
could be,
Yeah.
Yeah. The original. Yeah. So the original answer he gave was that in the recovered craft, the question was, did we recover the pilots of those crafts? And he said, yes, we've recovered biologics. And then, do you mean human or non-human? And he said, non-human.
Non-human biologics.
Yes.
Yeah, he said he prefers to use the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial.
Right.
But
So it could be tigers. I mean, we could have a whole tiger Air Force.
oh
fleet,
my
but-
gosh.
I mean, that's terrifying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So inside the Tic Tac is a couple lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Yeah.
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 So
Noah's Ark in the space age.
David says that he became a whistleblower after joining this program in 2019 after having all of this these witnesses having testimony from them. He felt like he needed to tell somebody, but he has received retaliation since coming forward. And this is a quote from him, "It has been very brutal and very unfortunate. Some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally." He refrained from sharing, obviously, detailed information in the hearing, but he did offer, obviously, we said this, that he would do it behind closed doors.
Right.
He was asked at one point in the hearing whether anyone had been murdered to cover up information, and he said he couldn't comment on that. So,
Yeah.
and I think he mentioned administrative terrorism is what he was calling the retaliation. So I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know what that would necessarily mean.
I think
but-
that's a more egregious form of office politics.
okay.
That's what it sounds like to me. Although maybe they've learned terrorist efforts from what they've gleaned from the biologics, and they're using them against them. I don't know. One of the other statements that he said under oath that this is the one that really actually got me.
I know where you're going. This one, it's kind of like, of course,
Right.
they're not here to be kind.
Oh,
I wasn't going on that one.
Okay.
I was going on the has our government made contact with intelligent extraterrestrial life? And his response was, I can't comment on that.
I was talking that he made a reference to someone asked him you think they're here to harm to humans, and he basically said yes.
Okay.
He said, "My wife and I have both witnessed some horrific things."
I missed that.
Wow.
yeah, he did mention that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that he's saying it's not ET.
Okay.
They're not friendly, and they're not going to eat Reese's Pieces. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're looking to see how, and maybe that's why we have stories of anal probing and cattle mutilations. They're here. They're so far advanced that we are literally just, I don't know, shave apes to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just feel like, no, we can experiment on them.
We're going to say.
So below them that they can do horrific things to us because they just don't see us as anything.
Right. We're animals to them.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So.
Interesting.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I honestly, I really don't see it. You would want it to be Star Trek, where once we did something, we would have first contact with an intelligent race that is building this united federation of other planets that are coming together. No, of course, it would go down the opposite way, where like, oh, look at these people, let's destroy them.
Right.
Well, if you think about it, like if Nash was here, he would smack me. I don't know enough about Star Trek to remember what the directive was that you don't make contact. You don't make first contact until they're ready. Until they've gotten the warp drive.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the warp drive, right?
There's a name for that. I forget what that name is, and I'm sure I'll get hate for that. But that's fine.
Name for what? I can help you out.
The directive that.
The Prime Directive.
Oh, the Prime Directive. Okay. So, in any
Ash
case.
isn't the only one who watches Star Trek, bro.
Oh, okay. But that's like he loves Star Trek.
I know he does.
But in any case, if you think about it, and yes, we're using Hollywood movies as an example here, documentaries. But if there was an alien civilization, alien conglomerate really of different races and species across the galaxy doing these things, and they're like, yeah, don't contact other life until they're ready.
Right.
It's gonna be the evil ones that are like, I don't care, I'm going down there and murdering them all.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't there a theory, at least we've talked about it, I'm sure other people talked about it, is once we dropped the atomic bomb, that's when we got the attention of higher life forms.
Yeah.
And then, or is it from a movie I've watched? But that maybe that puts us on the radar of maybe some
we're on
alien
the
species
path
that
of,
we're like, oh, these guys did this, huh? Let's go down and start messing with them. Maybe we attract the attention of not good life forms that like want to just terrorize. Study first till they know all our ins and outs, and then just
So
I'm sorry,
it's okay.
Getting it turn into dark.
Right.
Yeah. So I do have the government's response.
Yeah? Well, why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back with what the government says. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So we're going to move on. I knew we're going to have what the government's response was.
Yes. So in a statement, Defense Department spokeswoman Sue Go said investigators have not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. So Pentagon officials in December said that they had received several hundreds of new reports since launching a renewed effort to investigate reports of UFOs. At that point, we have not seen anything, and we're still very early on, that would lead us to believe that any of the objects that we have seen are of alien origin.
That's exactly what I would expect somebody with an ambiguously pronounced last name to say. And the spokesperson said, any unauthorized system in our airspace we deem as a threat to safety. So, they were like, we haven't seen anything, but if something's in the air, we're going to deem it a threat. But look at that documentary about
Independence Day.
The activity around July 4th. And compartmentalization, most of the military didn't know what was going on.
In that movie, the president didn't even know about what they had at Area 51.
Right.
Yeah.
Only the
Defense Secretary.
Yeah, the SecDef.
Right.
Yeah.
And
SecDef. We just watched Transformers last night.
Right, we did. I'll finish with the government has felt pressure to release information, but anything that they've really released, like all the videos and stuff, they have all been, and this is in quotes, pedestrian. Right. So like they're not really that big of a deal.
Weather balloons.
Right, exactly. But yeah.
So, and I want to move on with a counterpoint for our star witness here. There are claims that he is actually really out there.
Right.
Now, if you watch the congressional hearing, he presents himself not in the lunatic Woody Harrelson in a trailer type person.
Right.
He's pretty much looks on the level, talks on the level. He comes across as credible, but he has some outrageous things that he's been saying.
Yeah.
With any kind of paranoia, or not paranoia, what's the word I'm looking for? The conspiracy. There's possibility that it is him. It's a possibility that it's actually true.
Right.
But the first thing, and this is the one that I find like, okay, this is kind of discrediting of UFOs that he's talking about, the UAPs he's talking about, don't come from other planets. They are from another dimension.
Yeah.
And so
the space between the space.
All right.
I hated that in Indiana Jones 4.
And so as a result, it's it's not that they have necessarily technology that will help us move through billions of light years faster than we know now, or we now know how to do it. It's that it's actually going into different dimensions and things like that. And it starts
interdimensional. Does that lead us into like multiverses?
Like
there's other Earths
or other, I don't know. I don't know the full extent of this. Obviously, he didn't elaborate on his claims.
Of course.
I don't want to necessarily denote origin. I don't think we have all the data to say, they're coming from a certain location. We know there are extra dimensions due to high energy particle collisions, and there's a theoretical framework to explain that. And so that's what he's saying. So it's kind of like out there of.
Now, I had referenced that he said that the alien, him and his wife have seen horrific things. The aliens are not here. They're here for malicious actions. And Dave, you found some stuff to either rebuke that or a Reddit thread about that was taken down.
Right. So his actual one of the quotes that I found here. Okay. So this is a whole article on New York Magazine about him being kind of out there. It's a anti him. But in this section, UFOs have gotten aggressive at times. His quote: "The logical fallacy there is because they're advanced, they're kind." If we look at it through a humanistic lens, it appears negative. So basically there's malevolent activity by these beings, whatever they are, and that we're thinking because they're advanced, they're kind. That's not the case. In addition, follows up with the people have been killed to protect the secrets. His quote, there's a number of quotes here, but the one that really sums it up: "Yeah, I've heard of some really un-American things I don't want to repeat right now." Talking about hiding these things and whatnot. So there's a negative side to all of this. But some of the other things that he is talking about that are interesting. His first case that he was briefed on was a UFO, a UAV, downed in Italy in 1933. So that long ago. And that the Mussolini government, the fascist government of Italy, had control of this. And that the U.S. worked with the Vatican, and Pope Pius XII back-channeled the existence of the object so that the U.S. could get it in 1944 or 45. About the time we were overcoming the problems with the nuclear bomb.
Interesting.
I'm adding that last part. That's
Yeah.
Wait, are you trying to say Oppenheimer had a little help from alien technology?
there was a lot of people on the project.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, yeah. And another thing is that these crafts, a lot of them are very large, like a football field kind of size.
Wow.
So there's some pretty big craft, and the U.S. government has turned them over to private contractors so that they can study them. And now it's not just government, but it's also big business.
Of course.
Well,
Sorry,
there's-
that's a long pause, but it
Yeah.
kind of, I was like, turning that kind of technology over to private contractors seems dangerous. Maybe it's more dangerous just to be in the hands of the government too. I don't know, but
No.
turn it over to big business and let big business develop products
There's a
and
documentary
make
series
millions
on
of
this.
money off of said technology.
Yeah, I mean,
When all could benefit
right.
from said technology, not just one company that won the contract.
Right. Well, I mean, this is where the documentary series Transformers comes into play. Because in the first documentary, it really was about the government control and, what was it, Section 19 or
Section
Sector 7.
7.
Yeah.
And, with that.
That's
but,
right, folks. This whole discussion is turning into a Transformers discussion.
But then when you get to the heroism of, private citizens stepping up and one, Mark
Tyrese
Wahlberg,
and that was in the fourth.
And-
Boy, you know your Transformers.
Yes. And in the fourth documentary where Mark Wahlberg steps up,
I think I found a Transformer.
the information has been handed over to the brilliant mind of CEO Stanley Tucci in order to really make this into a civilian type of thing. And
Make billions and billions and
yes,
billions
yeah.
of
So
dollars.
the documentary series covers all of this already.
Yeah.
You know what, Dave? You're right.
I am being so
That's-
tongue in cheek right now.
But it sort of makes sense.
yeah. I mean, where do you think Hollywood
FYI.
gets his ideas?
We tried to watch Rise of the Beast last night.
Oh God, we didn't get very far.
And it wasn't very good, so we just put the first one in,
Yeah.
which I like.
The fifth one last night or first night or something night, I couldn't get through that. It was, and as a result of that one, I'm like,
You're out.
I'm out. I mean, the first movie was excellent. Second movie was excellent. Third and fourth I can watch, but fifth and on, they're
Yeah,
done.
they're just not that good. But anyway, so these UAP sightings, experts say, might be attributable to balloons, drones, optical illusions, or even the blinking lights of a commercial airliner. And the Pentagon has said they have seen no evidence linking UAPs to alien activity, though they have not ruled out that explanation. But so basically, yeah,
No, they're doing what they always do. Deny.
of course,
Right.
yeah.
Now, of course it's not.
Right.
Aliens. But look, I believe in extraterrestrial life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look out in the sky, every star, if every star is a sun,
Mm-hmm.
then there's got to be another planet, and just maybe they advanced, or more advanced than we are.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They can reach us, and they're exploring the galaxy.
Right.
I think that's an absolute 100% possibility. And do I want them to be kind? Yeah, and help and teach and learn and help make us better. Just the way I see enough movies to know
Right.
they're here just to consume our resources and destroy us and move on.
I have a whole diatribe I want to go on
Yeah.
right now.
Go.
Well, any last thoughts from you? Liz,
I
before
have a final quote, and this is from Ryan Graves. He says, "I urge us to put aside stigma and address the security and the safety issue this topic represents. If UAP are foreign drones, it is urgent. It is an urgent national security problem. If it's something else, it is an issue for science. In either case, unidentified objects are a concern for flight safety.
Yeah.
The American people deserve to know what is happening in our skies. It is long overdue."
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on your tangent,
Yeah,
Dave.
go
Okay.
for it.
So I have a lot of topics, and
Oh, boy.
I've probably been drinking too much that I won't remember all of them, but a few things here. So number one, I've always believed that there is extraterrestrial life. Alien life really excites me. If you haven't picked up on that in the last however many episodes we're on now,
Right.
But I honestly, we talked about this in the Vegas thing. I don't believe that they actually are reaching us necessarily. Maybe that was the Under the Ocean one. One of those two. We've talked about aliens now 3 episodes in a row.
Right.
But this gives me hope that this could be possible, that we actually could have these kinds of things. Like, I think of alien life as a microbe out on some other planet. But the fact that maybe we do have craft, maybe we do have pilots, maybe we do have
Right.
contact with other civilizations through some mechanism. This gives me hope for that. I do think that, if they're good, great. If we can reverse engineer their stuff, even better. Who knows what technology we have now that we've gained because
Right.
of that.
Well, from what I understand, Velcro and microwave ovens.
Right. Men in Black. But it doesn't actually seem like our technology has jumped any, like, we don't, if you look at technology curves, it's in the same pattern of what we've been on. So it's not like whatever we've gleaned from this is either being released to jump us way ahead, or that it's giving us that much of an advantage.
Right.
Which would make sense if it's in a multi-dimensional type of craft, civilization, whatever, and that they're not actually going over light speed and things like that. But even just if the Tic Tac went 80,000 feet in a few seconds, descending, that would create a huge fireball. And if it didn't do that, that would defy physics as we know it, which is what the guy said.
Well, he said that, yeah.
And then to show up, 60 miles away in under a minute. Also, we don't have technology for that.
Right.
But what if we do, but it's several thousand years from now, and all the Tic Tac, the UAVs, it's time travel. It's
Okay.
us. It's us. It's human beings.
Right.
So to show up a mile in that amount of time, well, the UAP, it can time jump.
Right.
That's why it's not causing the fireballs. That's why it can be a mile away in a split second.
Right.
And I just threw that out there.
Yeah, no,
What do you guys think of that?
that's
Yeah.
a possibility. Splitting time. We saw it with Tenet. And
Nobody watched Tenet.
I watched Tenet.
Okay. From what I heard, it's unwatchable.
Oh, it's very, very confusing. It really messes with your brain. But
Let's go another way. Everybody saw Time Cop.
right, yeah.
We know what happens when you go back in time.
Yeah. If you finish Tenet, you feel like you've accomplished something at the end.
Okay.
It's worth the payoff. I mean, it's not like it's the most exciting thing in the world. It's not a M. Night Shyamalan reveal or anything, but it all makes sense. The story ends well. It's worth it. But that's a different tangent.
Okay.
Coming back to the alien biologics, I go back to what I was talking about with the Las Vegas craft, where what if these were just probes being shot out, and maybe these are the jailed aliens, or the scum of society, or those types of things, or whatever. We may not be receiving a full pilot. We may not. This may not be an active craft. This could be like, hey, you're sentenced to exile. You're on this meteor, and we're sending it, and it happens to hit Earth.
Right.
Type of thing.
Well, I thought for a second you were saying that Earth is Alcatraz for some alien planet, and they're dropping aliens down here to serve their time, and that's why they're malicious, because they're the bad ones,
Right.
and we're just
What was that movie with
A prison
Ray
colony.
Liotta? Where he was sent to a prison colony, and there's a warden, but it's basically the prisoners are left to be savages to each other, and
I don't know.
I'll have to look it up. Anyways,
Yeah.
with recovering alien biologics, that can mean a lot of things. It doesn't mean that we've recovered a full pilot. It doesn't mean we've encountered a intelligent civilization. It could even mean just that we've recovered microbes from a rock, like Avi Loeb talks about.
Right.
Yeah.
So the it's not a end all be all that we've recovered biologics, non-human biologics. But I really, really want this to be true. And I think that at this point, the American public in the 50s would have freaked out at this kind of stuff. In today's day and age, I don't think it would surprise us.
True.
And if we declassified all of this and we just went with it,
Right.
I think the public can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I agree.
And that there's really no, if they're malevolent, then there's no reason not for us to become protected against that. If they're nice, well, then let's start that and see where, let's accelerate our civilization as a result of that. Like, there's no reason not to do this at this point. Like,
Yeah.
just
There's been a lot of theories that the government's been releasing certain things because they're trying to get us used
Acclimated.
to the,
Yeah.
they're trying to get us
Yeah.
used to the fact
that
that
kind of makes sense to drip on us.
right.
So when big reveals come, we're not shocked or
Right.
panicked. Again, no, we won't be.
Right.
We've been ready for this since we've been kids.
Right.
Because we know aliens exist.
But you know why I think that now they could do a full real reveal of we have ships, we have this. Oh, by the way, they're scroll
Fake news.
and
Exactly.
walk. No,
People will be like, AI, that's not real.
no, not that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going like we could release an actual video and people are like, nah, that's fake.
People are apathetic and they just don't care anymore. There's so much going on in life. It's like, oh, now we got aliens to deal with too.
Or they're too busy being an influencer on TikTok that they just could care less. But there's going to be a lot of people that will say, no, it's fake, it's AI, that video's not real, that's not an actual video that the government... There's going to be that too, because now we have technology that can make stuff look so realistic.
Right.
So it's going to be really hard to know, like, is that actual video of...
Right.
So I don't know. And then it was Avi, though, that said AI would be where aliens tried to make first contact with us.
Right.
So I'm like, at this point, I don't even know.
Right.
Right.
Well, what if OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, Meta, that's the companies that have the craft?
Well, Mark Zuckerberg does look like an alien.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just looks like.
Or what an alien thinks humans look like.
I'm pretty sure if you pulled his skin back, you would find
He's a lizard.
Yeah. Not advocating
reptilian
pulling his skin
overlord.
back, but
He really does. You know what? And so does Elon Musk a little bit.
yeah.
And they're both rich, powerful men controlling companies. Have aliens already been here
And they're going to
for a
fight.
long time?
Maybe they're warring extraterrestrial civilizations.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, for some reason, were having some war of words and led to, like, I'll fight you. Just pick the time and place.
yeah.
And now I'm like, all right. I would watch this on pay-per-view, but also I assume maybe Mark Zuckerberg is taking, like, jiu-jitsu?
I don't know.
But what's Elon Musk doing? Like,
Maybe they're having like an honor battle, and you've got
maybe they just meant a video game battle.
you've got the Viper against the Mountain, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh,
Where would you put your monay?
the
Straight up
mountain.
street fight, Facebook Mark versus Twitter. No, X Elon. Where would
Actually, they don't have proxies or anything.
Nope, actually them.
No one actually
Street
pays
fight.
Conor McGregor to come in. Or something.
They're at a bar. They each had like a couple drinks, and they start mouthing off, and now they're fighting.
Elon Musk,
You would give it to Elon, okay?
because Mark Zuckerberg is made of wax.
He definitely doesn't look human.
But
But I feel like he's probably he's doing some jujitsu, and he'll just tie up Elon Musk and choke him out.
he used to be super skinny, and I feel like he's got some muscle definition now.
Right.
He doesn't look as tiny.
You're talking about Zuckerberg, because like
Yes.
Elon doesn't look like his.
Oh, no.
definition.
No, I'm talking about
Oh,
Zuckerberg.
but Elon has rage.
You think he has rage?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jeez. I'll pick. Both of them would be okay if they failed.
Right, yeah.
And choked each other out.
But no, see, that's actually, as we were talking about it, that's the worry is, what if they revert to their true alien form and use their full alien technology against each other, thus causing a mass apocalypse on the Earth?
Right.
Jeez.
Because they're definitely both from not
This
world.
It becomes idiocracy. We're sitting there like, oh, we've got Musk versus Zuckerberg, awesome, drinking beer, having a good time, shouting out loud, and they end up, releasing their particle cannons, and everyone is just ionized.
We just made a great movie.
Yeah.
People would totally watch it. And it'd be kind of like, what do you call that? Tongue in cheek. It'd be a little satirical.
Right.
People would watch two social media giants. We'd make up fake names in our movie.
Of course.
And and we'd have them actually.
Yuckerberg
I was going to say, it would
Why
be
do we-
so
yeah.
and Muskox.
Why are we not pitching this to Netflix right now?
They would totally make it.
It would be, I know. Oh, crap. Copyright,
Yeah.
Netflix, since you're trying to like AI people to keep using them in your movies.
Right.
I'm going to copyright that right now. But yeah, it was kind of like that movie Up in the Sky.
Don't look up.
Don't look up. Up in the sky. Yeah. Don't look up.
I haven't seen it. I
We'll
want
make
to.
it,
but I haven't.
yeah, we can make it a very satirical, and then proof is right there that they're both aliens, but people are watching the pay-per-view, so they don't really believe what's happening around
Right.
them. I don't know. We got something there. If you've been listening to the show long enough, we've written 50-plus movies
Yeah.
on the second half of this podcast.
Yeah.
And we've made 0.
Right.
But if you're a Hollywood producer and you'd like to make a movie, once the strikes are over, give us a call.
Well, we're non-union affiliated at this
I was
point.
going to say, yeah.
Well, that's right.
I would like to get to the point where we're doing it and we should become union affiliated,
Yes.
but we haven't made that yet. So therefore, we're open.
And I wasn't
to work.
trying to segue into this, but if you're going to be at Gen Con, the biggest 4 days of gaming in Indianapolis, Indiana,
Yes.
our movie, The Quest for Karma, is in the Gen Con Film Fest. It will be shown on Saturday.
Yep.
So if you're there, check it out. We're so, I'm just over the moon.
Yeah.
That Gen Con selected our film.
Yes.
This was the film fest that I kind of like hopes and dreams that our little nerdy D&D-esque movie would make it into.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be at Gen Con, you can watch it online. Just, go to YouTube.
Right.
The Quest for Karma. Or just look up Dark Mave. You'll find our movie.
Well,
check it out.
And they're even, correct me if I'm wrong, they're streaming the...
They are doing an online
From Gen
film
Con.
fest. So
Yeah.
you can watch from their website
Yep.
all the movies that made it into the film festival.
Right.
Right.
And
So it could be a great way to see a lot of nerdy films
yeah.
by indie filmmakers just like us.
And not to go on a rant, but I've already done it once, so I'll do it on a second one. We would be there right now. Well, maybe not right now. In a couple days, to be there in person, watching it and promoting it. But the hotel block was already sold out by the
Yeah.
time they announced the nominees.
That is my only complaint
Yeah, like seriously, don't do that.
you're
Reserve
gonna,
a block
yeah.
for the hotel for the movie
for
people.
the filmmakers. Yep. But there you go. Yeah, we're Film Fest filmmakers. Yeah. All right. So I did think that was interesting. I'm sure there's still a lot to unpack. I'm sure there's stuff we skimmed over.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like it brings us one step closer to like, aliens are real.
Yeah.
And I'm happy either way. I want them to be good, but if they're bad, then I know what happens. We all, every country, every
Bands
human,
together.
bands together, and we take them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want more information, the hearing is on YouTube, so you can actually watch it. It's 2.5 hours, so you have
That's
to...
the full version.
Yes.
There's abridged versions, but
Okay,
you
yeah.
probably want to watch the full version
Yeah.
to get the full story. You know,
Yeah.
see.
After listening to us talk about it, you might want to watch the full version because we probably messed a few things up.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, if you want to send us your opinion, about the hearings or about any alien movies or whatever you think aliens are. Just go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us. Follow us on socials. Send us your feedback. Send us a review. Do a review. Whatever. Watch our movie. We have a new movie coming out, too, about a backyard strongman competition. Mm-hmm. And then I might as well drop it here. Starting, next month? We're going to start working on a documentary about a married couple that are going to the Dr. Mario competition in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
It's called, working title.
We don't have a name yet.
We don't have a name yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Secret.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
I don't have any more fight left in me.
Oh.
You're no Zuckerberg.
Right. Oh, no, I have fight left in me, but not on the topics we've discussed.
All right. Until next time, remember, it's not weird.
It's not worth checking out.